have the one and only PPC Titan, Alex Walser, owner of Savant Syndicate, scaler of brands, 7-9 figures and beyond. Former senior strategist with Justin Buckley over there at ATTN, brand owner himself as well, now doing his thing with Savant. We must bring him inside of the show. Everybody welcome Alex Walser as he comes in here. Get it!
What's up, guys?
Alex, welcome to the show, brother. We appreciate you making the time to join us.
Yeah, thanks, man. You're the Bruce Buffer of e-commerce introductions. I appreciate that.
You know, we try to do what we can, Alex, for people like you who are making it happen and scaling brands to the moon, brother. Alex, man, I'd love you to just start with a little background on yourself and, man, you know, how Savant came to be, and, man, you know, what's the edge you guys are bringing to the market and to your clients now?
Yeah, man, love the tee up. And what's up, Colin? Good to see you again, brother.
Good to see you too.
Yeah, so man, been in the game for a little over 10 years. The path to e-commerce wasn't linear. I started out at a mom and pop shop doing a bunch of things, juggling all the fires, and back then it was like lead gen things. Teamed up with a couple different agencies. Last one you kicked off, Justin Buckley at ATTN. Love those guys. That's where a wealth of the e-commerce experience came from. That's just a team of straight shooters. Got nothing but love for those guys. From that, I mean, when you're in the game and you're doing a good job, naturally just clients are going to fall inside, and it kind of just happens. So it was more of an organic transition than it was just, hey, let's kick off and start an agency. And I had a couple clients on the side, and my wheelhouse is Google Ads. Excited to talk about that here. Any questions you got? But yeah, from that, ended up just saying, hey, I need to take this full time. And then from there, realized that there's a battle that goes on with agencies with these departments. So if you don't own SMS, then it's like, oh, who's producing the income or who's driving all the revenue? SMS, of course, you know, but who's creating the list? That's new customer acquisition. So instead of having a battle, we unified all of that. As far as the edge goes, I mean, we're a lean team with all senior people. We don't take on clients that we don't have a lot of confidence in. Our portfolio is small. We're going to keep it that way. It's not supposed to be a 40-person agency. So it's white glove service. Everyone on the team's a straight killer that's very senior. And yeah, we just focus on new customer acquisition, growth, and listening to guys like you to stay up to date.
All right. I'll take that.
Alex, you said, you know, you're a beast at Google Ads, and you have the nickname of PPC Titan. Where did this nickname come from? Because that is also a beast nickname. I wish I had that nickname.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Man, honestly, I wish there was a cooler story. I think this came from LinkedIn, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. No, I was just back in the day when I was super focused on PPC and less broad umbrella of DTC. Just picked it out of a bucket of thoughts. So that's where that came from.
Nice. That's awesome.
Give us some view here, Alex, on the challenges that people are seeing, clients are seeing in 2026. I'm especially intrigued on the Google side and how things have developed there. How have you seen what's going on in the market change in e-commerce, and how are you helping people get to the next level now?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. I think Google's always been a problem child channel because traditionally people haven't it's like 100% on the marketer's fault. Like Google's an easy channel to fluff up if you're an agency that wants to hide behind like brand search. And this is like the cliche, every Google marketer is going to say the same thing here, which is like, it's easy to make performance look good because you can bake in brand. Like even new customers make branded searches. So Google comes with like a certain level of scrutiny from the C-suite. Like typically Facebook gets the highlight of budget and a little bit of trust, even if like data is not pointing there. So I'd say like the first thing for Google is just getting people to activate that as a channel in general, but then correctly is, a whole nother ball game. And what I see most people doing is they're really just overcomplicating it, or they're jumping to steps. Like YouTube's the really shiny object that everyone wants to get on, and they're repurposing their TikTok content, their Facebook content. There's places for that, and there's a lot of cool strategies. But like the number one thing you should do if you're an e-commerce brand is soak up all the saturation of search demand that's out there with your shopping and search campaigns, and then you move to opening up these other channels. Like, it doesn't make sense to me to move to like a view-based platform to create demand when there's demand already out there and you just have to capture it. And that's like non-brand demand. So like that's like the very surface level, like what I see in a challenge in like our ecosystem with Google.
So you ran Bearded Crew for 10 plus years. What did you learn from that? Because running a D2C brand for over 10 years is absolutely phenomenal. Just keeping the D2C brand alive 8 plus years is in and of itself.
Yeah. Thanks, man. And appreciate the question. Man, I wish, so I actually closed down Bearded Crew at the top of this year to just focus on the agency because I was at a crossroads of time investment and money investment and honestly just passion as well. And after 10 years in the game, I mean, it kind of dries up a little bit. If I'd had a big investment back before Beard brand popped off, or the Dollar Shave Club, or the Dollar Beard Club rather, like the market got really hot with marketing well after I'd already started, but like was a broke college kid at the time. So like as far as learnings, man, it's really across the board. Like I think as an agency owner or a marketer, it's really easy to ask for something, but then you don't realize the lift on the back end of what you're asking for. So if I say like, hey, I want to test these product photos or X, Y, and Z, like to a marketer, maybe it's just as simple as like, hey, you're going to do this one assignment, but then there's so much restructure on the back end with all the stuff you're having to juggle. So I think the biggest learning that's applicable to how I operate now is just, it helps out with the sequence and prioritization of what I'm trying to accomplish with my clients. Like how much is something going to move the needle compared to the lift it takes and all the other things they have going on. And it also just makes you realize like marketing goes beyond pushing product. Like you can help out if you've got dead SKUs in a warehouse that's taking up warehousing space, maybe you discount that heavily. Like you start asking questions a little bit differently to help out with the overall ecosystem of what they have going on, not just what's your hero product, can we push it? And then love Taylor Holiday and everything he's put out. I think he's like the godfather of a lot of great marketing content around margin, profitability, blah, blah, blah. There's a lot there. I love all that stuff. I think it's kind of intuitive for someone who had to own a brand beforehand versus just a marketer who's playing this game of numbers on a screen. Like you understand that ROAS has nothing to do with your margin and that if you push a product here and make X, it doesn't really like correlate to money in the bank. So like it was just early days of having that fundamental understanding of what is prioritization of like campaign deployment for a brand.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would imagine, Alex, that that experience, having run, DC brand of your own and everything that you're describing there, I would imagine that helps in your relationship with your clients and being able to make the right ask and know how much it's going to cost them on the other side. I mean, does that come up? Do you feel like that brings value in working with your clients, et cetera?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's like our industry is so funny with the terms it throws around. So like operator has become very popular over the last couple of years, but that's really what it chisels you out to be. You step out of like the scope of a marketer and you start realizing as an operator and marketer what is really, again, just important and how to prioritize that to the client and also how it translates into what you're doing.
What do you think is probably the number one challenge that you're seeing for brands right now in 2026, whether that's an 8-figure brand or a 9-figure brand?
I still feel like everybody's dropping the ball on conversion funnels or pre-sale pages or where they're sending their cold traffic. We live in such a direct response marketing realm, and my agency doesn't do CRO work, but we obviously work with CRO people or are sitting on the side whenever that work's being done and have comments, depending on like the team structure. But I wouldn't call it a problem as much as I call it like a shining opportunity. Like the brands that really figure out the different cohorts of their customers and what experience they need based on how you're bringing them into the funnel versus, like a Facebook click for a new customer acquisition effort on a product is very different than someone making a search for a problem on Google. Like we'll just talk about one of my clients with like hair loss. There's lots of reasons people are losing hair. GLP-1s are causing hair losses. That search of like how to deal with a GLP-1 hair loss should go to a page that's very relevant that's educational based, because they're obviously like, at some level, they even could be lower in the funnel of what they're looking for, but they're looking for trust and they're looking for education, and they want to make sure that whatever they're about to apply or buy has their buy-in emotionally and logically. So that's a very different post-click journey than a Facebook ad that has nothing to do with GLP-1s. So to wrap all of it in a bow, I think the biggest opportunity is for the CRO team to really shake hands with paid media and to understand, how are we acquiring these customers? Are they a customer already? What is their pain points that we want to address? And then making sure that their journey is very relevant. And then also, like, a lot of like the best companies I see perform on Google are ones that require education. And YouTube is such a great spot for that. You now have the ability to break down placements in your campaign. So like, there's just a lot of golden nuggets of what you can do to enrich the customer journey post-click, or after they don't purchase.
Yeah, totally agree.
I know that you guys you're doing more than paid media. Of course, you're not doing the CRO work specifically, but do you, this kind of same thought on the retention side, with email and SMS? I mean, have you, with that kind of thinking, have you guys, played with things on the retention side as far as, narrowing cohorts and giving them meaningful content and education that maybe extends their LTV or brings them back to buy again, et cetera?
Yeah, that's a great question. So Matt so we have a guy on our team, Matt runs our retention department. So he's probably going to look at this and be like, oh man, you're butchering the strategy here. But just from like my surface level absorption of what I see, working very closely with him, he's done a really good job at, and it's brand dependent, right? Because like a brand that sells coffee has different cohorts than a brand that sells motorcycle parts that are specific to an actual fitment of a bike, right? So like, we'll take the motorcycle example. If you have a brand that sells custom fabricated parts for 3 different types of bikes, it doesn't do you any good to send them messages about these other type of bikes or parts that you have. The relevant, it really just fills the overall engagement with your content. So understanding like that type of cohort is really important. But like the follow-up question there is like, well, what if they own 2 bikes and they own both of those? And so really getting more data from your customers with a post-purchase survey. We're very fond of Ecommerce. You can get a lot of great questions answered there, and that data is directly from the customer, so you can really learn a lot about your customer, what their problems are, how often to like contact them, what buckets they're fitting in, and just in general enrich your marketing with this knowledge. I mean, I think every question needs to be tangible. And if you're hearing about this, you've never tried Ecommerce, like I used to work with a brand that had 12 questions, and it was a coffee brand, and people would answer all the questions. Like their follow through was really high. I've also worked with brands that only had 5 questions. So like you'd be surprised how like accepting your customers are of a post purchase survey. Because I know there's a like upfront bias of adding friction, but you can gain a lot.
I totally agree. Agree. We had the same experience when I was at Bushwell.
Yeah.
Alex, could you talk to us a little bit about what does profit first mean? Why profit first? And then the flip side of that is, I didn't know there was an alternative. What's the alternative here? What is the alternative to not profit first?
Yeah, I mean, it's really how do you want to drive your marketing efforts? Like, are you looking at revenue? Are you looking at units? Are you looking at profitability? I feel like we're doing really good as an industry to shift out of this ROAS model. But again, it just comes back from the experience of owning a brand. It's so important to protect and sustain. And I think like dynamic discounting is going to become a more hot topic in the near future, because throwing a 10% discount across the board, although it's easy for a customer to understand and absorb, doesn't necessarily translate to what your best efforts could have been or what that customer's best experience could have been. Again, just margin dependent. So being profitable first, we all strive to have first order profitability. Doesn't necessarily always happen depending on the type of product it is. It helps out when your AOV is high, and there's different things you can do, like bundling your first and second purchase into a bundle, and that way you understand that like you get a 2-in-1 up front. But really making sure that your efforts pay for itself, because at the end of the day, like these clients are trusting you with a lot of money, and your efforts themselves should be creating a sustainable strategy, not just something that's popping off.
The scoreboard is definitely the bank account at the end of the day. It's not the ROAS. It's the dollars that actually went back that I can access and hopefully pay some groceries with. Alex, man, we appreciate you making the time and join us, man. People who want to talk to you, learn from you, follow you, etc. Where do they find you? Where do they go, brother?
Yeah, so I mean, pretty simple. LinkedIn's the best spot to reach out if you've got any questions. If you just want to talk shop or in general, I just want to get down to the nerdy business of what's going on in the ecosystem. That's the best place to shoot me a message. And then if you're a brand that's looking for help, more than glad to hop on a discovery call, see if we're a good fit for each other. And for that, you just go to savantsyndicate.com.
Awesome, man. Appreciate you making the time. Look forward to having you back.
Well, thank you.